I just got this package in the mail, and if you're seeing it close to the release of this video, you probably know what it is, but I'll tell you anyway. It's a brand spanking new Ableton MOVE. So let's open this box up and then have a look at the device inside. Now get out of the way, all you old gear. Somehow so much smaller than I thought. That, here it is. Okay, so I'm just gonna do a very quick overview of the ins and outs and the ports and stuff. On the back panel here, you have all the connections. You have the power button, you have the headphone out, you have the aux in, and then funnily enough, you have a USB-A going to MIDI out. And then you have a USB-C going for charging and for connecting to a computer or a device. When you look at the front here, you have a lot of features that are taken directly from the Ableton push. And obviously there's encoders here that are touch sensitive. So if we touch each encoder, we get to see the parameter. You have a volume knob right here, and then you have a dial here to select various menu items. These 16 buttons right here are both used as menu items. So by pressing the shift button, the button with the 3 dots right here, you get these options lit up. So for example, here you have new project, here you get into the set list, you have settings, you have parameters, you have parameters like quantization and so on, tempo, metronome, groove, and various things like that. Now these can also be used as a step sequencer. So if we make a new set right here, and we go into the drum pad, for example, and you can simply program in a beat like that, and this is very easy to use. It's also very familiar to the OPZ workflow, so if you're familiar with the OPZ and how to sequence there, this is basically the exact same thing, except you have a little bit more flexibility because you can nudge a little bit more. So now let's move on to more of the buttons. Here you got the capture button, which is also a feature you find within the software of Ableton Live. This is the sampler button. In order to record something, you simply press the pad you want to record on. Hello. 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 You have this one for looping. Sets the amount of bars you want. Mute, so you can mute the track. Or a pad. You have the X, which is a delete button. And then next you have this, which is the copy button. And then we have the shift button. So the shift button basically just gives you more parameters. So that's all pretty self-explanatory. Okay, so that was a little bit about the hardware. Now, let's talk about the workflow. The Ableton Move is designed to make music quickly. And it's designed to kind of get over the hurdles of having to browse for sounds and for samples straight away. So what it will do is whenever you create a new set, it will simply just load 4 random instruments. 4 instruments is also the max amount of instruments you can have. And I know that might be very limiting, but there are a few workarounds. You can actually work in a lot more instruments, and I will make a video about that later. So the way it's set up is that it will create, when you create a new set, it creates a drum rack, bass, pad or chord-like instruments, and then a lead. So let's do that right now. So we'll just press any pad that's not lit up to create a new instrument. And now if we press here, this button right here, we get into the session view. We can also, once we have a project lit up, just skip the session view and go straight into an instrument. So if we press the top instrument button right here, you go straight into the drum rack. So it's always set up in the same way. Drum rack, it's on the top, the first instrument, bass, pad, chord. You can just start playing and start goofing around if you like what you've done. Press capture, and then you're good to go. Now, one thing, if you start playing and then press capture, it will automatically adjust and fit what you played into the time you played it. If you play record, you can basically record for as long as you want, and it will keep adding bars to the loop. So it's just a different workflow, and both are useful. All right, let's go to the melody section. So that would be the bottom here. And now you see the layout is this symmetrical layout here. And that's because we're now in scale mode. So we have the 8 notes of the scale. So no chromaticism in this layout. Now you can change the scale by pressing Shift and then this little musical note. And here you see we're in key as opposed to chromatic. Now in chromatic mode, you'll see that only the pads that are in the key are lit up. But here you have all the 12 notes, chromatic notes. So let's go back to E in key. Now let's change it to a different scale. So let's go to major. Now we can do, let's just keep it simple and go for C major. So let's use the record button. So when we press this, we'll get a count in. I'll just see how this works. You know where this is going, right? Okay, so now we have a little loop going here, and that loop is 4 bars. And I think it's a little slow. So to change the tempo of the entire project, you just hold Shift and then you press this clock, and then you get the tempo. All right, let's lay down some bass. Also, we can change the instruments after having recorded, so I don't think this bass really fits into this song. But that's fine, so let's just record it, and then we'll see how we can change later. Like I mentioned, let's say we're not happy with the bass sound. Go into here. And you can easily just change the instrument. Let's lay down some chords. Let's see if I can record straight away. So, what are my thoughts of this? If you're familiar with Ableton Live already and you're familiar with using the Ableton Push in any of its generations, then this is a very easy device to get into. It has a few limitations, obviously. One big one is that you can't, for the moment, record audio in through USB-C. You have to use aux in, which is kind of weird in this day and age. And aside from that, you have the 4 instrument limitation. Although there is a workaround, I'm sure there are more, and I'll make a video about that, like I said. There are also a lot of cool options that it's not talked a lot about yet. Like, for example, you can use this as a looper device and attach external instruments like guitars and synths and so, and actually use the drum rack as a looper, and I'll make a video about that too. And yeah, I think it's a great device. It's sturdy, well-built, metal, solid, everything feels good. So that's just a short little overview of the Move, what it can do. Let me know in the comments if you would want to get one of these. I will make more videos about it. So if you have any questions that you would like to get your answer to, just drop a comment in the comment section and then I'll see if I can make a video about it. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And in the meantime, you can check out this video right here where I talk about the Ableton Note.